Hello, welcome to Fallawsophy. Today is June 7th, 2023, and I'm doing the show today because our normally scheduled show, Real News Live, my co host, Mike Barra, is off on an adventure, being famous. And so it's just me. It's just me today. Um, I did a show Monday night, and I'd like to address the elephant in the room. Now, that show produced an enormous amount of feedback. And that feedback uh, was in the form of outrage. Um, I received hundreds of comments and emails and text messages expressing concern about the way I was treated, the things that were said, and the way that the viewers were treated. And that's not okay with me. Now, I waited. I waited for some kind of communication from my co-host, an explanation of why uh, she had certain opinions and acted in such a way, possibly even an apology, and nothing came. So people were left feeling, they felt that she was rude, condescending, insulting to me, to my co-host and friend, Mike Barra, and to my listeners, to my viewers. And I don't like that. I don't want anybody associated with me to make my people feel bad about themselves, about their lives, about their intentions, and walk away. When you come to a show with me, my primary intent is to help you walk away better. If you come to a reading with me, my intent is absolutely true, is absolutely divine, and I'm dead serious. And it is my job to help you walk away better. I do know some behind the scenes reasons that could have possibly happened, some personal things in that person's life that could have produced such a reaction. But in good taste, I will not reveal those things because that's a personal thing. It's not for me to say. But it doesn't excuse the behavior. So I'd like to go before I'm going to give out the Gentel once again because I was interrupted and a lot of people commented that they didn't get to see it. I have put it out on Fallawsophy on Telegram. I have put it out in places so you can read it, but they didn't get to hear the story. And I would like to address some of the things that were said. Gentel. My co-host felt that Gentel should not have been given out on that show, that it should be a topic-based show, but has put no effort in to produce or to help with any kind of topics. And I know what my listeners and Mike's listeners need. I watch. I pay attention. I know what they want to hear. I know what they need answers to. And that's what I do. I go in and I try to get it. Gentel is mine. It doesn't belong to Real News Live. It doesn't belong to Mike Barrett. It doesn't belong to anybody but me. It is what I do. I have been doing that for, 10 to 15 years on radio. That's what my first show was about, to go in and to ask the questions that you can't necessarily find the answers for on Google. Okay? Whether I do it here, whether I do it on that show, whether I do it on Mike's show, that is completely up to me and my choice. Now, I spend a lot of time on these shows, a lot of things that you don't see, with absolute good intention. And I pray, God, and with all my weaknesses and all my faults and all my programming and everything else, I pray to God before every reading, before every show, before every meditation that I do, please help me bring the truth to these people and give me some hope to keep them going. Keep me going. You have been witnessing my spiritual journey, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not faultless and it is not perfect, and sometimes it's not pretty, okay? But it is what it is, and Gentel is mine. And nobody's going to tell me where I can say, where I can put it out, what I can say. And nobody's going to bash me in my true, honest, loving efforts to help people keep moving forward in a positive direction. And that's just how it's going to be. And anybody's going to do that to me, they're not going to be with me anymore. I started out this life being a passive person. Everything's always okay with me. Yeah, you can play with my toys. Yeah, you can wear my clothes. That's okay if you broke it. It's just stuff. Very passive, loving kid. And over the years, being widowed, having to be mom and dad, given too much and being screwed by people, I've learned some things. And it's made me stronger. And every time I learn something good, I want to share it. And that's why you hear from me. That is my true, honest desire. If you go out to lunch with me and I have an awesome sandwich, I'm going to make you try some because I think I found something good. So when I learn something, I immediately want to share it. I am a teacher. And that's what I'm going to do, whether I'm rich, whether I'm poor. And my intent in doing so is never about me. It's about you. And that's what drives me forward. When I prepare for a show, I block off an entire morning. If the show's at 10 a.m., I get up at 6 so that I can get ready, so I can do meditation, so I can take a look at what people want to know beforehand, so that I am prepared. And I try to conduct myself in such a way that is hopefully classy. I was raised by a lady. It's not always apparent, okay? But I try. It is first and foremost a show. And there are things that should not be said about other people and emotional outbursts. And it's not your therapy session. When you do a show is not about you. A reading is not about you. A healing is not about you. It is about who's listening and who's watching. And I'm a stickler about that. And I don't care if anybody believes me or not. When I decided to do this show that was on Monday night, White Light and the Beacon, it's on my channels. It was my idea, helping out a friend, absolutely free. I pay for the services. I have the radio station, which is now a podcast station. I have the channels. And the people who know me and come to me are going to be watching. Don't you come out there and insult my people. I block off time periods. Sometimes even for an hour show. It's not just the hour that I do the show. It's hours before, when I could be making money from readings or whatever, to do that. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. And if I ask you to be on the show and I do all the work and all the promotional work and set and make all the promotional materials and do all that work, and I have to remind you to show up and you offer no help, you offer no topic, don't come at me and tell me what I can say. and how you don't approve. Um, this opportunity was given for free, and it was unappreciated. Now, charging for, I'd like to address some of the things that were said. Charging for services. In any line of work that is your passion, if you set out to do that in today's world, sooner or later, you will not be able to devote that much time to it if you do not make some kind of living. That's all nice and sweet and everything. Yeah, do everything for free, and which I have. I still do the majority of my work for free. I devote my time to do these shows. I offer and give of myself over and over again when I see somebody hurting or somebody needing. And you all know that's true. All my listeners and my viewers know that's true. But when you want to set off and do good work, sooner or later, if you want to devote your time to it, you're going to have to charge. And I came upon that situation. There was a time in my life where I was widowed. I got survivor benefits and I didn't have to charge. I was not rich, but I always had to do a little something on the side, but I didn't have to charge. So I did all my work for free. And it wasn't about the money. It's never been about the money. It still isn't about the money, and it never will be. But the other part of my life, I will not fail my family and I will not fail my children. I need to provide. And along the way, I actually went to God about this a long time ago. This is something that a psychic person struggles with. And I've heard it time and time again. There are people out there working for psychic lines that'll charge you $5.99 a minute. A minute. And you may judge those people that work on those lines. They're not getting $5.99 a minute. They're getting like $20 an hour. They're being taken advantage of. It's a sweatshop. I do things my own way to avoid that. I don't want anybody telling me what I can give and what I can't, what shows I can do, and where I can. You have to sign a paper saying you won't do this or you won't do that. I'm not doing that. I asked God, I went into meditation, personal meditation. I said, I don't know, God. I don't know. I don't think I can do this anymore. I have to make more money. I mean, we're hurting. We need to, the kids are getting older and they want more things. And, he said, charge. And so I didn't listen. I asked for donations. Nobody donated. So I went back to him after that a little while. Well, okay, this isn't working. I really got to go manage something somewhere, and I really got to get kicking into gear. I don't think I can do this anymore. And he said, why do you worry? You work for me now. I will provide. And he did. He did. And so I charged and I set up, I put prices up on the website. And still, I never stopped doing the free work. I have a free group. I do, everywhere I turn, somebody's asking me for something. And I love giving it to them. People have to tell me to stop giving. That's why my children are so spoiled. It is what it is. I probably screwed up there. Don't really know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect. Got all kinds of emotions over here. I've been going through menopause, for God's sake. But don't come at me. Because you don't see what I see. You don't see the difference it makes. You don't feel the joy in my heart when somebody says, thank you for healing my baby. Don't come at me with so little knowledge. and condemn those who do good work and make a living doing their passion. Don't condemn those who are trying to do that to give their family a good life. That is ignorant. Okay, now talking about the RV. There is something in me that knows. You talk about this plan, you talk about the war between good and evil, you talk about defeating the cabal and everything else. And you talk about some lawsuit and all this crap around the edges, right? You will never win if you don't take their source of power, and their source of power is money. Our end goal in all of this is Nasara Jasara, and the RV is the beginning of that. And that is why my followers are so focused on that. Not just because they own some. They've made investments just like anybody else. Anybody who bought Bitcoin, anybody who buys antiques, anybody who invests in the stock market, has a 401k, thinking about their future. And what do these people that follow me and Mike think about? How they can help their children, how they can finally relax, how they can be free from the worry and the stress, how they can give to others. And then there are so many who, when they could sit on their ass after they do this, have decided to devote the rest of their life to humanitarian projects to help others. It is entirely ignorant to assume that anybody who is concerned or interested in the RV is doing so to see numbers in their bank account so they can have shiny things. I'm sure there'll be a couple people that do want shiny things. Shiny things are okay. But I know these people. Don't tell me what they want to hear. I know them personally. I have spent hours on the phone with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. I know the names of their kids. I know their health conditions. I know their situation in life. I know their fears and their worries and their pains. Don't tell me I don't know what my people want. The RV is the beginning of our triumph against the power structure whose driving force behind the power. It's not influence. It's not some cult. It's money. And it's the system that has allowed them to accumulate that money and power. And if we don't take it out, we will never win. You can't just keep clipping you can take this person out of power and that person out. You can't just keep cutting the leaves off a weed and expect it to die. You got to pull the root. That is Nasara Jasara. That is beginning with the RV. It is absolutely real. There is no point in having this giant operation without that. I'm a big stickler about forecasting doom. First of all, that is speculation. That is not helping anyone or anything to assume, well, nothing's ever going to happen. Everything's going to go to shit, and we're all going to die in some big cataclysm. Perfect. Thanks. Absolutely not. That is not true. When I go into meditation for these shows, I pray with all my heart and soul that I can push back the programming, that I can push through my personal opinions, my personal strife, my personal connection to whatever the question is. God, help me hear the truth. God, help me get the hope. Help me in every reading, in every healing, in every show that I do. Am I always right? No, because that's a struggle. And when you try it yourself, you'll see. But if I get excited about something, I've been doing this long enough to know when it's possibly true, or I felt that one. That's probably, I'm thinking this is true here. I'm thinking this is true. I'm going to share it with you. I will tell you if I'm not confident about it. I have a vast experience in the spiritual. I am very experienced in putting the ego aside, trying my best, keep it divine. I am very aware that I'm being watched by angels and Jesus and God and everybody else. You think I'm going to try and screw somebody or do something wrong on purpose? I don't have that kind of luxury. I mean, they're right there. Come on. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but it does always mean that my true, honest intent is divine and absolutely true. And if you don't believe that, I don't care. That is the truth. And as much as I have failed, and much as I have succeeded more than I have failed. And I will say that right now. And that is why you're watching me today. And that is why people keep coming to me. And that is why God's been able to provide for me and my family. And that is why He helps me do this. You got to keep your intentions true, and you got to keep it divine. And you don't come out here and when you come out on a show and dump all your negativity on people, they walk away with it. You've just affected everyone who's watching. It doesn't mean I tell everybody what they want to hear. Everybody who comes to me for a personal reading knows that. I don't. I try to get the truth. But if the truth is something that's crap, we didn't want to hear that, let's find the hope now. Let's look for it. Where do we go from here? Let's keep moving. Ever forward. You don't come out and dump your personal crap on people for some kind. I don't know if it's self-elevation or what it was, but that really pisses me off because it's selfish. And to be insulting and rude and unappreciative to somebody who gave you an opportunity to have a voice and did all the work so that you could do so and had to remind you to show up. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So I sat back and I listened and I watched, and I've come to the conclusion that I need to practice what I preach. And that is that I've decided that I'm no longer going to accept less than I deserve. If you give to somebody and they smack you in the face, probably shouldn't do it again. And so I will not be doing White Light in the Beacon anymore. I will be doing Mike's show. And I will be doing my show. And I'm not going to allow anybody to tell me what I can say and what I can't say and when I can say it and what I can do and what I can't do anymore. Because this girl is not that passive child anymore. And I have not gone to a hardened place. I have not gone to a place of ego. I have not gone to any of those places. But I'm not taking it anymore. And if I'm wrong with what I put out there, whatever, I sure as hell tried. If you don't like it, it's not for you. But I'm telling you right now, the RV is real. It is coming. We will go to a gold standard. We will get rid of the debt and the taxes because that's all aligned and part of the monetary system that has allowed the wicked to control humanity. And there is no reason for a war like this and a plan if you're not going to pull the root. And that's where we are. And we're about to get moving on that. Now, I would like to give my damn Gentel that I was so excited about on Monday night without interruption, and I will do so now. And, I'd like to say something about Mike Barrett. Mike Barrett and I are completely different people. I love him and I love Dave. They are my friends. Yes, I know exactly how he can get mad and he can yell and he has very opinionated, and sometimes we get mad at each other. But you know what? We have the kind of friendship when I get mad at him, and sometimes I complain about him and all that stuff. I'm sure he complains about me. But we're the kind of friends that talk things through. If I'm mad at him, I tell him. And most of the time, he doesn't realize that he may be mad. So I explain it to him. This is how I feel. Did you mean to say that? I mean, what's going on? And we talk it through, and then we're friends again. And we have been working together for 3 years. And if I have something to say about him as a friend and as someone who loves him, it's kind of like talking about your brother, right? Don't come on a show like mine and insult my friends. Anyway, Gentel. I got this on 6/5. And I went and talked to Archangel Gabriel and Michael. And actually that day, I had some cancellations. Oh, that's right. I didn't have the show in the morning. So I had more time to just focus. And I went in and I was going to ask questions about little things that happened. And I was like, you know what? I just really this is what people want to know right now. We really need to ask these questions and see if I could get anything. And I prayed that I get the truth, like I always do. First, the sonic boom was one thing I was going to ask about. I felt like that was important. It just kind of stuck out to me. And I said, he said the sonic boom was actually a long range missile fired at something. Could have been underground. I don't know. But that is happening on our soil right now. And if you pay attention, there's a lot happening right now. Out of the ordinary with aircraft and vehicles and things like that. And I asked, when will Biden's character be removed? Because, you can't just talk about one part of this plan and not talk about the other. It all fits together. He said in the summer. And you'll hear on the news. And then I heard this woman anchor's voice say, Joe Biden has been removed from office for failing to, and then I couldn't get the rest. And that's just me. I was probably there, but it was like, failing to, oh my God. Then you start thinking, right? You have to stop thinking in this meditation and just be a receiver. Just listen. Be an observer. And then I started thinking, failing to, that's all I got. Maybe I'll get more. But originally, remember, I was on this show, it was on Mike's show, and it hit me. And I felt that one. Joe Biden, it's almost like it came out of my mouth before I realized that Joe Biden will be removed for trying to start a world war. Then I went back in later and I asked Michael about it. And I think he said when he tries to start a world war. So it may not be what he's removed for, but it's when he does. What's happening around you now? What's he doing now? I think we're there. All right, now let me talk about the RV. I asked about the RV. Do people, somebody was asking me, do people have to do humanitarian projects to redeem their Zim bonds? The answer was no. He said there's two choices, projects or not. And the way it works, and I could be wrong, probably pretty close. If not, the number I got was 11 million US dollars per 100 trillion bond. Disclaimer, I'm a psychic. No need to break down my door and drag me away for saying anything. I have not signed any NDAs, so I can say what I want, basically. And I got it on my own. I do not have any, well, I have not received any information from any inside sources for the RV. I'll tell you that. About amounts or rates. All that came from me. 11 million per 100 trillion bond. If you're just going to walk in and say, I just want to redeem this, just want to exchange it. Now, if you do a project, what happens is you get that money for exchanging your bonds, redeeming them. But then they say, well, I'm doing a humanitarian project, and there's some kind of process where, depending on your project, another amount is granted. And you probably have to wait to find out what that is. So they can't. So there's something about that way they know that yes, legally you have received the money for the bonds that you hold. Anything above that is a humanitarian project, approved or not. The amount will vary. That's probably where people are getting the 30 to 60 million. It's probably what's going to be approved for that kind of thing. Either that or it's a different tier. Either way, 11 million. Pretty awesome. Even if you just have one. So then, if you fail to do your project, there's no, at least, so they will issue money from that piece of money that was given for your project in stages of completion to ensure progress, he said. And so you go to them, you go to your project, and there will be project managers overseeing what you do or whatever. You'll go to them and say, okay, we've got the land, we've got this, we want to start construction, we want to get this going, and they'll say, okay, here's this amount of money for that. And then you go to them later and say, okay, we need to hire everybody, we need payroll, we've got all this stuff, we need to buy product, whatever it is. Okay, here's this amount of money for that. So it's not just all given to you, and should you die or something, and nobody carries out the plan, they're not going to just let you take, $100 million and pass it on to your kids because that was allotted for a project. You will have your initial money that everybody else gets when they turn in those bonds, right? That's what I got. Makes sense to me. I mean, makes it easier. Then I said, so what's happening with the RV? Well, they all revalue at once. And Gabriel said, when I wasn't expecting, he said they are revalued now on the redemption screens and ready. Then I'm like, okay, so what does this look like? How is this going to unfold? Like is there stages? What are we going to do? What's going to happen? What are we going to see? I heard it was a 2-month timeline, but don't hold on to that 2 months too. It's basically starting now. Okay. But this is the sequence of events that I received. First, we have the behind the scenes RV. This is why they allowed the debt ceiling to rise, because they had put it off and there had been so many delays that they needed some cover to keep everything from crashing right this second so they can do the behind the scenes RV and complete that. It is very important somehow for the rest of the world to revalue their currency. What are they doing? they're going to asset-backed currencies. They're getting rid of the imaginary currency and the ability that the cabal has, especially in our country, to keep printing money at will and keep pulling interest from the people. Then we're going to have a stock market crash. She said the next thing was a stock market crash. Okay? Then we have the public RV, where all the public rates in the different countries are out for the public to just anybody who's got a couple bills to walk in and say, oh yeah, I want to exchange this. This in its entirety is not about, oh, let's make sure that a bunch of people are rich before everything crashes. That is a happy result, but it's very important because of the power of the United States that everybody else revalues first. It will force us to do so. Once the public RV happens, where all the other countries' rates change, ours drops in the toilet and the dollar fails. That's the next, number 4, the dollar fails. And it forces the United States to jump on board and to go to the gold standard. And that is when you see the rollout of the Nasara Jasara and everything else. They're not going to come out and say, okay, Nasara Jasara. They're going to call it something different. It may come in stages, but it's going to be the same concepts. It's going to be the same. Okay, they may have tweaked it a little bit. They'll probably call it like, America's Recovery or something like that. But that's the rollout. That is the transition of events. There may be a few things here and there I didn't pick up. Good enough. Close enough. It's moving. It's happening. It's real. Then I said, when will the EBS happen? Because that's one of the questions everybody asks me. I heard late summer, possibly into fall, after everything else fails and the cabal tries to take power back by force. There'll be riots and there will be terrorist activity. It will increase too. So what they're going to try and show with all of this is that everybody's just so put out by the removal of Biden and going to gold and everything else, and the average person's going to be happy as crap, be like, holy crap, what? I don't have debt and I don't have taxes and I get to keep my money. And they're going to be it's not going to be the average person. It's all going to be terrorists. It's all going to be people that have been flooding our borders for a very long time who are paid by the remaining mid-level or lower level players that haven't been taken out, who haven't been bankrupt. Listen, this web of a cabal has been going on for a long time. It's just so intricate. You can't just take out the top players and expect there's nobody left, right? It's in business. It's in everything. What we're going to do is take out the top levels, change the monetary system that fuels the fire, and let it burn itself out. And then these people in business and all that stuff are going to have to play ball with the way things are now. And they will. So that's when I originally saw the EBS, is when I always thought it was the fall. When we get that famous tweet, my fellow Americans should undoubtedly realize that we're taking back our great country from those who wish to do us harm. From those that wish to do us harm. Now, could we have some kind of worldwide war event right now and these things could be out of sequence? Yeah. Yeah. But I really feel like that happens when there is danger to the public And that's why military would have to be in place to go out and take care of it and ensure the safety of the public. I never believed that there would be no more banking. There would be no more cards. There'd be no more convenience. There would be no more of that. There will be a change in that. It's not that in itself that's bad. It's the business practices surrounding that has been fraudulent. And that's what will change. I always saw if the banks went down and people going to lose all their money, I always saw that it would go down for like a short period of time, like hours, days, maybe one day. I'm going to go back up. And then there'll be announcements, whether that's EBS announcements or that's news announcements or whatever. Listen, it is completely illogical that such an elaborate plan that has basically, even through a pandemic, and yes, everybody's lost everybody, people, and yes, it was hard, and yes, it's everybody's run up their credit cards. Do not think you're the only one who's run up your credit cards. I hear it every day. People that normally wouldn't did because they're trying to keep the house stocked up. They were trying to, people had lost jobs, people couldn't get work, they were on limited income, and they just put things on the card. I did it too. Such an elaborate, genius plan with so many moving parts. And it is a fluid plan, apparently, because we have seen so many delays. And it would need to be, because you can't anticipate what's lurking. Such an elaborate plan that has basically kept us okay and in the dark is not going to lead you to ruin. Because you know what happens then? It's not that they care so much about you. They probably do care a little bit. But you know the problem that either side does not want is chaos. You don't have enough military to control a world full of people or a country full of people who have gotten to such a desperate place that they will kill, they will drag you out of office, they will storm, they will do whatever they can to retaliate or to get what they need to feed their family. When people are desperate, they will do desperate things, and they know this. They were not going to lead us to a place where there is panic and no hope. They will quiet that down quickly, because there is no point in following such an elaborate plan to have the public overwhelm any kind of form of government or control that they have at all. And the good side still wants to maintain some kind of control. You're kidding yourself if you don't think so. As far as a solar event, we have solar events all the time. As far as a giant flash that kills everything and everybody's out and destitute for 10 years or whatever like that, that's a bunch of crap. It's not happening. Pisses me off. Anyway, so this is how I really feel. And if anything, I am loyal. And even if like with my brother, I love my brother with all my heart and soul. He's like one of my best friends ever in my whole life, right? He says the wrong thing sometimes. Sometimes his ideas about things, I look at him like, what? But he's also the same person that I've never laughed so much with somebody in my entire life. Love him with all my heart and soul. And If someone were to come to me and say, "Oh, Randy thinks this and that," and I don't agree with it, I'd be like, "Yeah, me too," you know. But if they were come to me and start telling me and everybody else something bad about him, I will kick your ass. I will kick your ass. And my relationship with Mike Barra is mine. And I know exactly how he is, and I love him anyway. And yeah, I don't know if we'll get pissed off at each other someday and we won't do the show anymore, but you know, I think we'll always be friends, and that probably won't happen. Probably won't happen. Don't come at me and talk shit about my friends. Um, so there will be no fight. I do not like to fight. I do not like confrontation. I like to be happy, and I like everybody to be okay. That's exactly who I am. I can't help myself. Um, and so a lot of times personally, I will hold back and I will endure and I will put up with it and I will do all this stuff. I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm so tired of that. Um, so I will not be doing that show anymore. I will not accept less than I deserve, and I will not keep doing work that is unappreciated. I love you guys. I know I've gotten to know so many of you personally, and I feel like I've got thousands of friends. And if you're going to come in and you're going to hurt my friends, you just screwed up. Because I'm not going to take it. So let's have questions, shall we? Let's see how. Wait, Susan's got a show with Bob soon. Hang on, she's got to produce that. Get on early. So we got a little time for questions. Let's take some questions. Excuse my lighting. I don't know what the hell that's about. This other computer in it. If I move, I'm like glowing all of a sudden, and then it makes my hair look darker than it is. Weird. Okay. You got a friend in me. I know. I should have like music playing in the background for my devotion to my friends. You got a friend in me. Aw, really nice comments, you guys. People love Mike. People love me. I'm such a love sponge. I do love the love. I do. It's like, you try not to have an ego, right? Because people tell you, oh, we did a good job of this, you did a good job of that, and the dog was healed, and my dad is alive, and you helped me move forward, and I'm closer to God because of you. And you're like, God, that makes me feel good. I did a good job. And then you like take a step back and you're like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Because I honestly do. That's my intention. I signed up to do God's work, and that means to be good to his people and do everything you can for them. But that's the struggle. You never want to step over that line where it's all about you and, oh, I'm so great, and I'm going to sit on the stage with a big picture of myself behind myself, call me a yogi or something like that. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Let's see what we got here. A question. Tammy. See, Tammy, do you see me moving soon? Tammy. Well, it looks like it's in the fall. I think it's after Halloween. Sounds like a short move. Like somewhere not too far away. Okay. Question. Are all the angels male? Well, this is very interesting. Now, the archangels, most of the archangels that I see come to me in their male form. There's a lot of people out there. I think it was, what the hell was her name? I forgot. Doreen Virtue. She always used to see the female aspect. I believe the male aspect came to me and communicates with me because that's what I needed in my life. I had a lot of support from female. I had female all over the place, but the male um figures in my life either failed me or died. And I was living when I started talking to him, I was widowed and I was um you know kind of help make me feel safe, get me that male guidance, and it's just always been that way. Um, when I asked this question years ago in meditation, could be wrong or right, but this is what I got. That the at least the archangels or the angels, they are created, or even just souls, are created like the yin and yang. That is who your soulmate is. Okay. It's the other half of you, it's your twin. And it may be the male aspect, it may be the female aspect. As far as this, it taught me this. I asked these questions one day when I met a beautiful reddish haired uh angel. Name, I think it was Gabrielle or Gabriella. And I was in meditation and she was talking to me. So nice to me. And I'm like, do you know me? She goes, you know my brother very well. And I said, who's your brother? I said, Gabriel. Brother. Oh. So I've seen Gabriel's twin. I do know that some of them have twins. I have not seen a twin with Michael, so I don't know. Never heard about a female aspect of Michael. But I think that there's a female aspect to Haniel. Raphael, I haven't met the female part. But I think that's what's going on there. Now, as far as regular guardian angels, yeah, there's female, there's male, they're all over the place. They're with you right now. Let's see. Trying to get this one. All right. Oh, okay. Well, I don't usually do mediumship on the air. It's the way I do it is I call the soul in and I play interpreter. I ask Michael to go get him just because of my own personal protection that I have up. I don't allow souls just to walk in. But let me see. Let me ask Michael how she's doing. Pearl Flores. Sandy's mother passed away and wants to know how she's doing. She's been with you mostly every day. It's not that she's there all the time, it's that she's been checking in on you a lot and the others. She is fine. She knew what to do when she passed. She was absolutely greeted by a group of people. She's fine, babe. She's okay. Let's see what we got here. Now, the smoke up in Canada. Now, we've had these fires every year. I have seen it decrease over the years during this war that's going on. It seemed like when we were back in like 2017, 18, 19, all that, just seemed like as soon as it was going to be time to get out on the lake, now we've got the fires and we've got the smoke, and sometimes it's been so bad it forces you to stay inside. I kind of think this is strategic right now, considering about where the smoke is traveling. So I'm not sure if that they were definitely set. Definitely set. But I don't know, if this is some kind of natural smoke screen that they created that would keep a majority of people inside not to see, or maybe even cloak the skies so you couldn't see everything that's going on. Possibility. Mr. Socks. That was awesome. The Iraqi budget passing tomorrow. Let's see. something happens this week. So I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day. It looks like something preliminary happens, and then is it passed? I heard it's passed. Okay, let's see. What else we got? I know it's terrible. I just hate the smoke. It's got to get that to stop. What was this? Oh, got that one already. See, I don't have I've got the pretty glasses on, if that's what you call them. No, I'm absolutely doing Real News Live, and I will continue to do Real News Live as long as Mike wants to do it. I love that show. I have a good time. He did nothing wrong. You guys love it. No, I have no reason to leave that show. I'm just not going to put my efforts and my money and everything all into this other new show if it's not appreciated and I'm insulted on the air. It's ridiculous. Why should I? And then part of me was like, well, maybe I should just take it. Maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe I shouldn't make a fuss. Maybe I should just, And I'm thinking, you know what? Because maybe I don't want to have a conflict. You know what? I'm so sick of that crap. No, no more. She knows exactly what she did. Everybody saw it. I'm not going to come out here and bash her and say anything personal about her. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm not going to do anything. But it is what it is, and it happened. And it was ridiculous. Absolutely unacceptable. And I'm done with it. That's it. Self-sabotage on her part. Okay. Let's get down the bottom here. Let's see what's going on. What do we got? Christine Packer, who I love. Let me see. Is my sister-in-law happy with the way I handled things? She's content. She's okay. Of course, she's got her own little opinions around the edges about how you could have done this or that, but that's really control issues. Yeah. She's okay with it. This is very interesting. Now, I've never been a big alien person. I didn't, I always knew that there was something out there. I thought it was, just even as a kid, I thought it was small-minded to believe that this is all there is. Even before I knew anything about this truther, I love you too, Susan Gratz. I just saw your comment. Even before I knew anything about this truther movement, or the cabal or anything like that, I was asked on Bob's show, because Bob Brown has done a show on Beacon Light Radio since 2016, just 2 shows a week without fail. Has every kind of guest you can think of on there. It's very interesting. It's always a good watch. He's on today at 12. What time is it? It's 12 at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on Beacon of Light Radio on YouTube. You can also go to Beacon of Light Radio chat on Facebook. It's a private group. We post all the links to the shows and my shows there, and Mike's show there. So you can always, if you're part of that group, it'll pop right up in your news feed when something's on. I was asked to look, and I've told the story before, but it's just such a good one. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I was asked to look off the coast of Rendlesham Forest in Bempton in England, off the cliffs. And what I saw out in the water was this big, square, dark, metal looking, almost like a huge tilt up like Amazon building size. Okay, or bigger. Inside, there were actual people wearing blue uniforms. Maybe a navy to royal kind of mixed with, color. Um, there were also inside what we would call grays. There are tunnels leading from that underwater building into the sides of the cliffs. And what they were doing is what I got at that time, before I knew about the call, before I knew about any of this, is there is a government above the government that has contracted with these to allow them to take resources from our planet in exchange for their work mining iron ore, is what I got at the time. I think it's uranium under the ground. And now that I know what I know, I'm like, whoa. That sounded so out there at the time, but now it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I do think that there is some kind of communication with um alien race that is concerned about what happens here on Earth. And they're concerned of what happens here because of the ripple effect it would cause in other places. Um, so yeah, there is a good possibility of that. Have I talked to any of them? No, no. I don't really I don't really go talking to aliens and stuff because I never know who I'm going to get. you know, um, but I think so. I really think so. Um, do you see me staying at my current job or changing? Any guidance is appreciated. I've stayed decades because there are technical consequences for leaving before 30 years. And that's how they get you. Yep. Let's see. So it's kind of both. So it's like you stay in enough capacity, enough time spent there to continue on with that 30-year. But it's like I don't think you work as much as you normally do. So interesting twist coming on that one. You don't have to stay, but you do. Okay. Hello, Robert. Well, thank you, Dorothy. Sometimes I get fed up and I'm just like, you know what? That was so blatant. I can't ignore that. I can't just push that under the rug and say, well, let's apologize and everything's to be. And I don't have any hard feelings. I just don't want to deal with that anymore. You know? Jovial, I've seen as a male. He is actually part of my team. I have not seen the female aspect of him. One thing we never want to do, one of the things I've learned over the years, is to assume that we know everything. Okay? Especially about God and his creation and how big that is and how real that is and how vast that is and what's possible and what's not possible. God comes from the realm of infinite possibilities. And it's a constant process of creation, and creation is done with thought. And so everything that has had enough thought put into it is real somewhere. It may not be in this dimension, it may not be others. And to reduce, that's why I just have not. I know people really believe in the flat earth thing. I can't jump on board yet. Can't jump on board yet because I know there is so much we don't know. I learn new things every day. And especially when I'm surprised by something, I know I didn't make that up because that completely surprises me. Um, and there are things that I didn't think exist that do. And I learned along the way. And so we never want to get to a place where we believe um, that we know everything about the universe and what's in it. We need to stay open. Stay logical, you know. Um, there will always be doomsdayers. There will always be people that panic. Psychic information, profits, information that you get that way is always going to depend on the vehicle. And that is the goal, to have a clean vehicle. Do you become perfect? No. And that's the beauty of everything. Because if you were perfect, you'd be done. There's nothing left to learn, is there? And if you think you're perfect, then you've got an ego problem. Okay. I have grown to a place where I'm confident enough about what I do because I've gotten so many things wrong and I've gotten so many things right, and I know what wrong and right feels like. Susan will tell you the same thing. Marcy will tell you the same thing. And that's how you learn. And so it's just like life. It's a constant process of learning. It's constant creation. What kind of life do you want to have? Do you want to stay centered in misery? Do you want to see only the negative? What kind of results will you produce for yourself if you do that? I've seen both sides of that. I've done both those things. Terrible worrywart in my young adult years there. Constant worry. And, I learned some things and I decided, you know what? No. I do not have to spend my time miserable because 99% of everything that I worried about never frickin' happened. And then you got people going out there, I heard this, and oh my God. Well, you heard yourself telling yourself fearful things, and now you're scaring everybody else. You don't have anything to validate that. I'll put it out there like, oh, the world is ending, the sky is falling, everything's ending in 2 days or 10 years, and everything's going to go to shit. Well, thanks a lot for that. How, if that were true, why the hell do we need to know? And there's nothing we can do. Why the hell do we need to know that ahead of time? What I have found from the angels is they won't tell me things like that ahead of time. Why? Because it is not their job to cause needless suffering. If there's something you can't do about it, if there's nothing you can do about it, why suffer early? They don't do that. They don't cause pain. They don't cause fear. They don't cause any of those low vibrational energies that come from the dark side. They work for God. And God is about the highest of vibration, and He is all love and knowledge and goodness and moving forward and creation. And what you spend your time focusing on will create something in your reality. And am I so special that the archangels come talk to me? No, I asked them to step into my reality. That is how Jesus can be with everybody at once. That is how the archangels can be with everybody at once, because you have your own personal reality. How would you like your personal reality to change? Then we start thinking positive. We deny the evil thoughts. We put them out of our mind and replace it with a positive thought. And then we keep moving, and that will lead to action, and you will create positive outcomes in your life. You draw to you that which you project. And I have said that for 20 years. And it is true. Why are people nice to me? Very, very rare and few that somebody's attacks me. Very rare that somebody does something like happened the other night. Very rare that I've got a hater. One or two, I count one hand. I put them in one hand. the haters I've had over the years. Why? Because I don't go around pissing people off. I don't go around doing things to create that situation in my life. I stand up for myself. But if you go around doing your best, being a good person, seeing through the eyes of love, be understanding, take a minute before you react. Just take a minute and say, well, see it, put yourself in their shoes. My mother told me that all the time. See what they're coming from. We'll say, all right. I could totally react right now and I could say everything I know that's going to hurt that person just like they just hurt me. Are you helping the situation? No. There's always many things that I could say that I know about somebody when they come and attack me. I saw the evidence of that in my sister a long time ago when I was little. I learned that when I was a little kid because she was like whale thin. Like, I mean, like, are you eating? Like, I can see every bone in your body thin. Okay. I was more of a little stocky kid and climbing trees and ride horses and stuff. She called me fat and I'd call her stupid. And we did that until one day I realized that I started believing her that I was fat, but more what I realized and I saw most is that she believed that she was stupid. And I'm like, I did that. I did that. And so I never called her that again. And I learned that lesson a long time ago. You do more damage and you can never take it back with your words in retaliation. And there's no need for it. Stand your ground, plead your case, defend yourself, but there's no need to stoop to their level and cause more pain. So I don't. Try not to. Probably failed here and there, but I try not to. I learned that along. Pretty much. I don't know why I didn't get that. I got good hair though. Okay, she got the thin, I got the good hair. Okay. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. Be specific with your questions though, so I know exactly what you want if you're going to do that. Words are very powerful. One more question, then I gotta go because Susan's got to produce for Bob. Hi Tim. Do you see my in-laws Gary and Eileen? Is that supposed to be Eileen or Eileen? Selling their house and moving this year. Yeah. I'm not sure it's this year, but yeah. I do see them packing up and leaving for the last time and doing that. Yeah. All right, guys. I got to get going, but I just want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks for listening to my response, my gentle. And I will be back with Mike on Monday. He will be back then. And I will keep doing philosophy shows because I have a lot to say. I always have. I always talk too much. But I always have a reason, And I do love you guys too. I appreciate all the comments. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy, the feedback after that show on Monday night. Everywhere I went, it was just streaming, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. The emails, the messages, the comments and chats, the comments on the chat in the show, trying to find a question. Yes, I saw all of that. I love you guys. I do. Keep your chin up. We have not gone through all of this for nothing. And if anybody tells you that you're a bad person because you bought some foreign currencies and got on board with something that is part of Nasara Jasara and gonna happen and has to happen, they'll be sorry. They will. Not because you're gonna do anything to them, but because they didn't buy any. I don't sell it. I got on board and bought some and got some given to me and have enough, like last summer this time. Because I was sitting there and the whole time I'm like, I'm not the kind of person that jumps on board in like pyramid things or investing in stuff. I've always just been a very task at hand person, very grounded, very no, we got to get this and we got to get a dishwasher and the kids' cars broke down and I can't really just spend that right now. And I should keep a savings. I should keep it buffed. Very responsible. Okay. And then I was sitting there on the show and it was almost like ding. Maybe I should buy some. And then I went to Vegas and a wonderful woman gave me one, gave me a Zim. I'm like, something like that just does not happen for no reason. Okay. I'm really never led to things that are going to lead me to ruin. Pretty protected. I asked for a lot of help and I get it. So, and I have honestly been asking these questions over and over and over again. Now, my timelines have been squashed because of the delays. They have put it off and put it off and put it off. It's not that everybody's been wrong, it's that they've put it off. Pray that they stop putting it off. I don't see how they can anymore because our dollar and our system is about to fail. So they got to get this done. Anyway, love you guys. Have a good day. I will see you all on Fallawsophy on Telegram. Go to jenniferfallah.com. All kinds of good stuff there. And think positive. Don't let anybody bring you down. Okay?